Alright chat, so, I'm in the lab. I think I've got this to a sufficient degree of usability, but I'm gonna explain what this combo is. Check this out chat. I don't know if you can see, but that rubber cell is a lot more of a ball than usual. It's really hard to wear down. It takes a really long time, but I have about like a quarter one or like half one. It should be enough to make the combo cook though. 160 is for pocket jump outs and just to mess with its trajectory, make it like lean more inwards, so it's able to defend better. It is kind of low stamina, so I am gonna alternate launches. So yeah, let's get into it. First combo is going to be Phoenix Wing 160 Rush. I'll explain this real quick. It's meant to be a mobile defense combo that uses the rubber to grip to the ground and be hard to move. Wizard Rod helps the tip in two ways. There's two really good parts of this. One, it is really outward weighty and has a lot of stamina, so it makes up for the fact Rubber Cell has kind of bad stamina. And because it's so smooth and round, it makes attacks like brush off of it. Because if you can't move the whole Beyblade and there's nothing to grip onto, it makes it really, really good. So yeah, that's kind of the science behind this combo. Let's test it out. I also test it out again. It can definitely dodge, but I think running into the opponent is like genuinely just as effective as dodging. Oh, nice. In a actual battle, it's a lot more effective for defense because you can actually aim it and counter launch. So keep that with a grain of salt. That this isn't a perfect representation. It's actually like significantly better. It's kind of like Dragoon Elevate. Significantly better when you're using it. It's not a perfect defense type yet, but when it gets more worn down, it will be more of a perfect defense type. Alright, nice. The thing is, a lot of Phoenix's attacks rely on being like fast and like heavy, so it can actually move Wizard Rod on this combo like easier than most things, but you can still see it tanking pretty dang well. I'm honestly going to try to launch weak enough so it doesn't engage the rail. Is that the recipe for cooking? That might honestly just be the recipe for cooking. Alright, I'll try to launch harder with Phoenix. I need to gauge how fast I'm supposed to spin Rod. That may be a bit too fast, but we'll see. That's what I mean, like, it just completely denied that attack. I know that Tricera is coming out soon. So I'm wondering if that new metal ratchet, depending on how heavy it is, and if it like isn't a super burst machine, it may honestly be like super broken on this combo. Because maybe the central weight will just make it be super stable. I don't know. Launching it weaker also reduces the recoil. That's the thing about rubber cell. Depending on how you tilt it, it gains a lot of momentum in a certain direction. There's also just a tech with it that I made back in Burst. Before I was Dr.bladekid, old Bladekid made it. And basically, they're expecting you to go around this way, so they launch this way, but you flip up to launch this way. You get behind their pattern. If they self-KO, because they're expecting you to be there, ding, that goes hard. But even if they don't, even if they stay in, you now just have like a really good advantage because you're behind them, and if you get hit, you're getting hit right into the walls. So it's a very efficient tech for stamina. It's hard to pull off because you gotta flip at a very specific distance and you gotta avoid mid-air contact. But if you do it, it's an extremely potent tech in Metal Fight. And Burst as well. Burst is where I developed it, but it also is really good in Metal Fight. But yeah, the subsidiary of that was the Wave Drop. The Wave Drop is just like a backwards drop like this, with a little slide. And that would do like certain things. The ball tips and the normal cones weren't too affected, but bearing tips would sway back and forth. It was called penduluming. There were specific pendulum launches, but that did achieve a pendulum. With rubber tips, what it did is it basically just gained like a super fast burst of speed in the direction you angled it. And that was good for like early strikes. That was good for getting behind them. It also made a tighter flower pattern when you did it. And it was like faster initially, but it did have like some issues where the initial attack wasn't quite as powerful and could be blocked off just because it didn't have the windup. It was the windup. It was meant to be for really weak stamina types. It works to get positions fast, because you can get up there really fast. And when I'm launching it myself, I can't do that, right? I can't really do that because I don't got two hands to launch with. Actually, I can kind of do that. But even so, it's pretty difficult to replicate it accurately. But it's a good tech if you time it right to the opponent. And you can get behind them very easily. And even counterattack, but just like holding that position stops them from like drop launching. It stops them from reverse roll rushing. And it can be used for some good attacks, but mostly for like defensive stuff. Also, if it avoids first contact, that's good news. Let's go back to that, like, weaker launches. I might be angling too much. Let me grab my compass. Well, I guess my my level. I'm gonna grab myself a Shark Edge combo. 260 low rush. I'll switch to 960 if needed. This is Twilight Sharkle, and we're gonna get another testing. Yeah, I think it really is just the weak launch. Might be a 260 moment, but it makes it hit a lot harder, as you can see. It hit the ridge like mid, unfortunately. That's the thing, Rogers has so much outward weight that it works out. You can launch it like super duper weak and be fine. Not like super duper weak, but you gotta feel it out. Like, you don't want it to X-wedge at all. So depending on how worn out it is, it kind of depends. It's not even all about having enough stamina, it's also about having enough speed to momentum cancel attacks. Because, like, yes, even having just stationary rubber is good, but half of it is the fact it's mobile rubber. And that's why positioning matters so much. Nice. I have an intrusive thought. So I'm thinking this definitely can be used for attack, just because rubber is help. Obviously when it gets worn down with it won't be. But now I could take a cook. I swear the stadium is not rigged to throw a rod in that pocket. I'm honestly really curious about how that metal ratchet is going to do on this combo, because, like, again, it may be the most bursty thing in the universe, but it may also be sick. Thanks, one. I'm honestly just gonna try launching out the Wazoo this next round, because I've been launching it kind of mid-powered. Just because that's what I used to do in Metal Fight. It might also just be the fact that, like, because this isn't moving right, it just kind of, like, there's no dispersion of recoil. This just kind of, like, hits this and all the recoil gets knocked back at it. Also, it's BEYBLADE X, everything has massive recoil for no reason, even the perfect circle. And I know what that reason is because everything's like an outward weighted, so, like, metal chunk. So I'm gonna do the last test real quick, the goon test. Goon time, chat. Goon time, chat. Goon time, chat. If this beats goon, it'll be quite the goon. Didn't launch super hard with rod, but I'm hoping that just getting the contact will kind of carry it. Because I want to make sure it can actually outspin it, and it's not just because it's like knocking around it. Because if it can outspin it while it's knocking around goon, that's good before it's like a different thing. That's a tie. Jumping out of the pocket is really nice. Yeah, that's what I assumed. That's the thing, that's mid. And maybe you want to do it with like really good balance, but mine seems to be fine enough. And I can't really. I'm gonna stop being insane real quick, and I'm gonna try it against a wheel defense combo. This is a 760 wedge, by the way. I mean, I honestly speed through these if they're not too interesting. Alright, that's facts. Let's try one more thing, and then I'm pretty much done testing this thing. I'm sure the point has gotten across mostly. How it's kind of just like, in the long positions, yeah, I can get KO'd, but that's everything, even in Metal Fight. So, yeah, it's clearly very effective. We're gonna try it against the Jalapeno Pringle. Chilling now. Yeah, I did the thing. I wish I quit there and didn't hit with the weak part. Dang, it's even tanking hover. Hell yeah, brother! I did just finish recording the Hubble video. I'm sure that video is gonna take years to edit, but I want to get that out as soon as possible. It's definitely not coming out as soon as possible. It came a few days ago. So that's the thing. In the right situation, with a full hit, Hubble can do it. Epic sauce news type of stuff. Ha ha he 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 he. Fuck that. If that happened in tournament, I'd actually break my launcher. Whoa. A Hubble player would break their launcher. I don't stoop to the level of using a tag. I just get all my matchups correct. One more. Another one. Alright, I'm gonna get back to the lab now, chat. Hello there, it's 6 in the morning, and I'm almost done editing this video, but if we take a look, you can kind of see this battle footage, and then after the battle footage, it just cuts straight to the outro. I'll be honest, I never recorded a whiteboard section, but I am too close to finishing this video to go back and re-record it on a whiteboard. So this is what you're gonna get. You gotta keep in mind this is still like not as worn out as it could be. It's still kind of an early prototype of this combo. I want to test it with the new metal ratchet as well. That's coming in a few days. I explained it 1,000 times, but basically how this works is the rubber is really sticky to the ground and really frictiony, and this makes things bounce off of rod because it's so smooth. It can't really grip contact. We did see Phoenix Wing could knock it around a bunch, and again, it's not fully worn out, so it doesn't have as much stamina as it could have, and it is a little more mobile than it should be. Plus, again, this is a one-person test. In a two-person test, not only would I have more stamina launching first, but I would also just have more control over my angle directly. It is meant to specifically do well against things like Shark Edge and Buster, and even the new hover, as you saw. So, it is pretty decent. It doesn't quite hold a spot in the meta right now just because it's not quite as worn out as it needs to be, but again, I will get it more worn out as things progress. I was hoping to get this video out along with the hover one a good bit ago, but unfortunately I had Beyblade Midwest and I did not get a chance to edit for like a good week and a half. But now that I'm back to the editing grind set, I got out the hover video, so that's good. Silver Wedge is coming out after this. This is something I came up with forever ago. It's based on a Phantom Orion rubber flat from 4D. Does the same thing, has a lot of stamina. It's a very strong thing in that format. The issue is the rubber is just a little bit softer and also wider than the Metal Fight one. It was just too hard to control and just did not have enough stamina to be consistent. It did work. It definitely worked, and especially against like Shark Edge. But now that it's a little more worn out, it's working a little bit better. Once I get it more worn out, it'll probably work even better than that. But this is kind of like the stage 1 prototype. And yeah, I think it works pretty well. As for the future of my content, I did kind of fall off. The last few videos haven't been getting views because I haven't been uploading. But I am going to try to start slowly uploading more videos. The Silver Wedge video should be out soon. I got one on glass cannons I'm working on. I got one on balance tuning as well. So yeah, I should be having some videos coming out soon. I do want to talk about my experience at Midwest because I did really well. But I'm yapping, so thank you guys so much for watching.